Welcome to Omi-Studio. Here, you will learn in detail about ONBASE. This course equips professionals with the skills to manage documents and automate workflows using the ONBASE ECM platform.
Now let's get to one of the more important parts of wedding planning, the food. I need to let my caterers know what food to prepare and how many dishes are needed for each type. I could have multiple sets of field that ask for food type and amount, but that could take up extra space on my form, and some sets might not even be necessary. To be able to add a dynamic set of fields that I can adjust to as few or as many as I need, I can add a repeating type control called a table. So in my toolbox, I'm going to select my table control and add that to the form. I'm going to call this Meal Preferences. Now with tables, anytime elements are added, it's all going to be on the same row. Notice the table looks very similar to the section, but notice this addition of the Add Remove buttons. Now I need to know what types of food we need to prepare for the wedding, but there's only certain types of food we can prepare in our kitchen. Instead of using a text box where an user can type anything, I want a predefined set of items. To do this, we're going to use a control called the Select List. This will give me a drop-down of predefined values. Notice when I try to add my select list to the table, my mouse cursor changes to this plus sign. Whenever you add a new item to a table, it's going to center it and put it on one line. I'm going to call this item Meal Preference Type. Now to add my values to the list, I need to update my dataset property. What's nice about dataset properties is that I can leverage existing datasets from ONBASE configuration. I'm going to click the pencil to get into our editor. So here are our existing datasets in ONBASE configuration. Now I have one already set up for meal preference, but we could also create one on the fly. To do that, you can click the New button, give a name to the new dataset, click Continue. I can start adding values to the list by typing out the value and then hitting the Enter key. We'll have some hot dogs, some pizza, sushi, and vegetarian option. I can reorder my list. If I have a popular option, I can add it to the top. If I want to sort my values in alpha order, I can use the Sort Ascending and Sort Descending options. If I want to remove one of the values from the list, select it and then click the X. Now that I have my list, I'm going to click Finish. So now I have my meal preference type, but how many do I need for each type? So let's add a text box here. Again, because this is a table, keeps adding everything in the same row. Now, if you find yourself needing to be able to repeat an entire section where you have panels, multiple rows, multiple columns, then you're going to want to use our other tool called a repeating section. I'm going to change this new text box to number of plates. Now, because I'm only expecting a number here, I want to also change the data type. Now, wouldn't it be nice if there was a way I could add up the total number of plates and make sure that it equaled the total number of guests so I could make sure that everybody's going to be eating at the reception? We could do that by way of a custom action, but that's for another video. Let's test out our table. To begin entering data on a table, you need to click the Add button. I'm going to select my meal type, enter the number of plates, and when I need to add an additional row, click the Add button again. And I can keep adding as many rows as necessary. Now, it's not always intuitive for end users to know that they need to click this Add button to start entering to a table. So what we could do is add a default number of rows to display in the form when it initially loads. To do that, in the table properties, we're going to go down to Default Row Count and adjust that from 0. Let's set this to 2 rows. So let's test drive the form to see what this looks like. And now 2 rows are already displayed.